Hey guys, I just want to get on here and talk a little bit about game difficulty, because I hear a lot of people talking about the difficulty in Sekiro, which is the newest From Software game. I'm a huge fan of From Software. I love the Souls games. I really think that they're really interesting games. And ever since the first Demon Souls on the PS3, which was literally the first game I bought on the PS3, I was hooked, man. And every FromSoft Souls game that came out since then, I bought at launch. You know, and that includes Bloodborne as well. And that even includes the PC versions of Dark Souls 1 and 2, which came out after the console versions. I bought those on PC. So I'm a huge fan of the Souls series. Sekiro, I have not bought yet. I didn't even pre-order it. I really considered it, but I was kind of having a little financial struggle, so that's why I didn't do it. But I'm kind of glad that I did not buy the game, because of what I hear about this game and the challenge that it offers is ridiculous, even by Souls standards, apparently. Because, I mean, you think about the Dark Souls series, what you think about is these are games that they don't hold your hand. You have very challenging enemies and boss fights. You could die in a few hits, oftentimes. You have death traps and, you know, just all kinds of good challenge. You know, these games are meant to be very challenging. But one thing that these games have that Sekiro doesn't is it gives you ways to mitigate that challenge. It lets you play the game the way that you want to play it. So if you're a filthy casual that doesn't get good, well, at least you have some concessions. Like, for example, the ability to summon people to help you online, and the ability to buff up your levels and stats, and, you know, make certain builds that kind of tailor to your play style. Like if you're like somebody that likes to be a coward and shoot people with bows and arrows from a distance, you have that as an option. Sekiro doesn't give you any of that. That's kind of a problem. It also doesn't have any kind of online connectivity. So it's really strange that a single player only game with the challenge of that game doesn't give you any kind of difficulty setting. It's a really simple fix, and it would really help the game in the long run. It would help a lot more people enjoy it. But at the same time, the people that want that high level of challenge, they would get something too. And so when it comes to a game like Dark Souls, you know, an online connected game, you really can't have difficulty settings. You know, everybody has to be on the same playing field. And of course, that means players that are really good are going to have an instinctive advantage. But players that are not good, at least, will have the ability to progress through the game at their own pace and eventually muster it. But I really don't see a lot of people beating Sekiro. It's just not going to happen. And that's because the difficulty is way too high. It's just crazy. I haven't played it for myself, but just from what I hear about other people talking about it, they say that it's like not even a close comparison. Compared to the other games, you know, it's a lot harder than some of them. You know, I've seen like YouTubers that famously are crying on camera trying to play through this game because of the Sekiro challenge is what it's called. You know, it's like, you know, you have to beat this game with the various conditions, you know, to get like a prize or something like that. It's crazy. But, yeah, I just don't have any interest at this iteration to play the game, you know, because I love challenging games. I love games that make the player think and, you know, just really kind of push the envelope of what a game can be. That's why I like the Souls games so much. It wasn't just because brutal difficulty, you know, that's not what I enjoyed about them, you know. I mean, I enjoyed difficulty. I like the difficulty. But it wasn't like I wanted these games to be so damn hard that everything would kill you in one hit. You know, that's not fun at all. You know, that's not my definition of fun. What I liked about them is the fact that you have to kind of learn the enemies, you have to learn the strategies, you have to, you know, kind of find your way around, you have to figure out what to do. You know, in a way, the original Souls games like Demon Souls, Dark Souls, they were like basically the closest thing we had to the original Legend of Zelda back in the day. But in like a true 3D form with like really awesome combat and all kinds of play styles. So it was like a really cool Legend of Zelda-like experience. But Sekiro, it's just like, oh, let's just make the game as hard as we can. That's what it seems like. You know, it doesn't seem like they're giving the players many concessions at all. I just don't see why they couldn't have separate difficulty settings, you know? Three difficulty settings, 3 people. Because you think about, like, freaking Resident Evil 2, for example. Resident Evil 2 that just came out had 3 difficulty settings. You know, they fit all types of gamers' tastes. You know, I played it on the medium setting because that's kind of where I sit at. You know, I play a lot of games, but I don't really spend a whole lot of time on a single game. And so, you know, I'm not trying to, like, get to a point where I'm so good at the game that I know where every single enemy is and I memorize everything, you know. I just like to play through it, enjoy my time, and then move on to the next game. You know, so I thought medium was a pretty good difficulty setting. You know, it was challenging, but it wasn't, like, ridiculous. But, you know, if you're that kind of gamer that you like crazy challenge, well, you have the higher difficulty setting you can play it on. And you can even challenge yourself in other ways to get certain trophies, like the trophy where you can't use a healing item the whole game, and you can't use the saves the whole game and that stuff. You know, that's an extra way to add additional challenge without weighing it down for people that aren't that good. So they really need to fix that. That is a problem. I mean, you could say that it's not broken because obviously it was made by design. It wasn't like that they were like, oh shit, we didn't realize this game was so hard, you know. But yeah, that's what I've got to say about it. I really hope FromSoft recognizes what they need to do, man, because I mean, I think this is going to hurt the game's reputation altogether. Because I mean, they cater too much to the hardcore get good Dark Souls crowd, and it's going to be a stain on the game's legacy. I really think it is. And the only way they can fix that is by having difficulty settings, even if it just does nothing else but just tweaks the damage values of the player and the enemy. But with that, guys, Down Phoenix out.